Mapdad here. So, Mapdad's about to enter a new phase in life where both of the Map kids are out of the house, providing more year-round Mapdad opportunities. To get a taste of these changes, Mapdad and MapWife left the kids at home and took their first vacation together in nearly 4 years. First stop, Asheville, North Carolina, where we flew into the airport there. Just 7 gates, easy in and out if you can get a non-stop there. Rental car secured, we drove southwest, stopping in Brevard so we could bring some housewarming gifts to our dear friends who are hosting us for the weekend. Brevard has got a lot going for it. I highly recommend the Blue Ridge Bakery. We bought individual pies for our group and some delicious sandwiches for ourselves. We continued on to the town of Highlands, elevation 4,118 feet. And once we arrived, it was immediately off to enjoy the outdoors. First, a short hike up to Sunset Rock for a very peaceful end to our first night away. Homemade pizzas from Mountain Fresh Grocery, highly recommended. The next day, some bigger hikes. Whiteside Mountain in the morning, and what the guidebooks describe as a moderate hike, a little tougher for the inexperienced Mapdad, but the views were spectacular. The peak, just under 5,000 feet. Lunch was at the Casher's Farmers Market and off-the-bone barbecue for a true brisket sandwich. In the afternoon, Mapdad soldiered on as our hosts led us to Secret Falls. Truly a secret, because you had to go way, way, way out of your way to find it. But again, the payoff was worth it. All that hiking built up an appetite, and the dinner splurge at Ristorante Paoletti in downtown Highlands was on point. The seafood cioppino, delicious. On the third day, the guys were up super early to be first out at the Sky Valley Country Club just over the state line in Georgia, one of the few public courses in the area. A very pretty course. Mapdad's frontside 43 left him in a real good mood. Highlands has a number of good casual places to eat. Our group did takeout from the Ugly Dog Pub when the weather did not cooperate on our last night. The couple split up the next morning, and Mapdad and wife drove off to a manufactured American Bavaria, Helen, Georgia. Back in the late 60s, local businessmen came up with the idea to transform this sleepy village into something else, I'll say. The main activities are tubing and shopping. Sometimes a crock was left behind on the river. And we passed on the tubing for lunch, and I would highly recommend the Bodensee restaurant, a $14 lunch special of the chef chicken schnitzel. I've been here once, don't have to go back, but it was fun. From Helen, back north to the foot of the Smoky Mountains on the Carolina side for a one-night stop in Cherokee at the Harrah's Resort, so Mapdad could get his gambling on. The slots were unkind, the blackjack tables a bit better, so a small net positive for the night. And we stayed in the new Cherokee Tower, which was about $200 with tax, but rooms in other buildings could be had for much cheaper, starting at $79 the night we were there. So day 5 began with the most miserable weather of the week, which was unfortunate because this was the only chance to drive the main road through the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. The winding roads that led to Clingman's Dome and the highest point. Now, there's a short but very steep hike from the parking lot to the observation deck. There are benches on the paved trail if you need to stop. And Mapdad was breathing heavy from the get-go, but managed to power up in about 20 minutes. But again, the view, no view at all. Still peaceful in its own way, but yes, it was kind of disappointing. This was, though, a big moment for Mapdad still. Tennessee marked state number 40. Just 10 to go. Now, coming down into the Tennessee side, your first town, the tourist mecca of Gatlinburg. Now, just about everywhere is a pancake house. I don't know why, it just is. Mapdad did his research and settled on the log cabin, which was nice because it was just off the main drag and had its own parking lot, which meant we didn't have to pay the $12 to $20 the public lots were charging. Now to the pancakes themselves, A1. And if you get Ginger as a waitress, she is the best. Never had anyone in my life so chipper wait on me. Now after lunch, it was a quick walk in town and a stop for candy at the old Smoky Candy Kitchen. We would come home with peanut brittle, taffy, chocolate. Not good for you, but yes, it was good. Now, since we had places to get to later in the day, there would be no Sky Bridges or Ripley's attractions. I think those guys own this town. And we headed north from Gatlinburg into Pigeon Forge. No Dollywood amusement park for us, but 6 lanes of gridlock, and we passed by this. Not sure what to add here. On the road for another hour brought us to the city of Knoxville. We stayed at the Hyatt Place downtown, one of the newer hotels. About $200 for the night, not a bad deal, but there is no hotel parking lot, so you either need to park in a nearby garage or fork over $30 for overnight valet. And we met a friend of mine at the Stock and Barrel for what I'll say was one of the better hamburgers I've had. It was one of many restaurants lining Market Square, and for a weekday, the crowds were pretty impressive. Day 6 started with a trip back in time. Knoxville was host to the 1982 World's Fair, and the Sun Sphere was recently reopened to the public. It's not the observation deck of the Eiffel Tower or the Empire State Building or any of the Chicago skyscrapers, but kind of fun. $5. Mapdad asked his dad to go to the World's Fair as a kid, but he said no, so this was the next best thing. Picked up a 40th anniversary t-shirt. And there's also the world's largest Rubik's Cube in the convention center next door. That was Hungary's donation back in the 80s. A stop in the Knoxville Museum of Art was nice, free admission here, and then it was off to our final destination. A 2-hour drive back to Asheville to complete the loop. We were going to see the Biltmore House, so the hotel splurge on this trip was to spend the final 2 nights at the Inn on Biltmore Estate, kind of an old world vibe here. And dinner the first night was in downtown Asheville at Chestnut, which I would highly recommend. Smoked trout ravioli, a personal favorite, along with the banana pudding. Our final day, a tour of Biltmore, the Vanderbilt family home built in the 1890s. And we'd been here once before about a decade ago, but I forgot about the bowling alley. The dining room was unreal, designed for perfect acoustics, we were told. The library also something to behold. This is not how the other half lived, but just the select few. Dinner down the hill from the hotel at the Bistro, which was pricey but yummy. I had fish for the halibut. Yeah, okay, that was terrible. What was good, though, was this trip. A busy week with spectacular views and bonding time with MapWife and our friends. It's a part of the country I'd like to return to in the future. I'm Mapdad, hoping to point your travels in the right direction.